Hey guys, it's Martha. Don't pay attention to the way I look. I just got out of the hospital 2 days ago and I'm looking a little rough, but I feel a lot better than what I did. So, just surprised me. I'm actually able to sit up right now. Hey, I did start on a new topic about 2 weeks ago. I think is when I last posted my video. Okay. I did have an open-eyed vision, and I need you all to listen to me for a second, or a couple seconds actually. About 6 months ago, I heard the word anointed in the spirit. If any of you, if the Lord does speak to any of you, you know what I'm talking about. It's that low, quiet voice, but it's very audible, and you know exactly who it is. He usually talks to me in one syllable and then gives me the meaning of what he's talking about. Well, the word anointed came to me when I was praying. And I was like, at first I thought he was telling me to anoint my head. And I was like, okay. So I anointed my head. That really wasn't what he was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and say about a month or so later, I had a open-eyed vision, and I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to tell it to you. Even though it was for me, I'm going to tell it to you, okay? He will give you visions or things to say to other people, but 9 times out of 10, I hear things for me. I have been given messages to be given to other people before, and I've also been given visions of things that's going to happen to my kids if I'm praying about a certain situation. He's 9 times out of 10, I hear, people that needs prayer, or I get showed images of people that's needing prayer, that's needing uplifted or protection of some sort. But one of the things that I've been praying or had been praying about was, he's had me in a holding place for quite a while. And like I'm going to tell you, it's been about 4 years. He's had me in holding, and he's had me off to myself. And I have done a lot of studying, and I've went down a lot of rabbit holes that he's had me going down, and trying to tie in some different things, because I do a lot of Bible study, okay? And a lot of the things that he's had me going down into rabbit holes about were things that pertain to the end of times, and the things that people are coming forward about, things that the FBI and the CIA and everybody else is finally releasing the information and the paperwork on, that they've kept hidden for a long time, because and of course the UFOs and Kennedy assassinations and who all was involved in that, and just the corruption and the ugliness that's being hidden from the rest of us as in general. Evidence and of all of these giant skeletons and Nephilim and the Egyptian. Where's the connection with the Egyptians? Because there is a massive connection with Egypt, the old-timey Egypt, okay? Where some of this stuff started and where it ties in. So that he's changing my course of what I'm to be teaching you guys about. And what he's changed it into is he tells us not to be deceived. Well, a lot of churches don't teach on the things that's the deceivers. So he's got me studying and learning, and it's been an unreal 2 years, some of the things he's had me studying about, but every bit of it's biblical, and every bit of it ties in to the end times, and it's coming to a climax, and it's things that a lot of people can't see, they're ignoring, or they're just not acknowledging because it's scary. And some of it is a little freaky. I'm not going to lie about it. I've found some really freaky things out that at first some of the stuff I've just had to keep digging because I'm like, no, this person's delusional. Well, the person was a 4-star general, and there's 6 of them sitting there, and they're all divulging information that has been hidden from us for the last 50, 60 years. And since they've retired, now they can talk about it without any without coming up missing, to be blunt. I've also been watching a lot of college, these scientists that have a job out here working for the government, but then they also double and they're teaching their classes and instructing their classes on the things that they are working on. And but now a lot of these people have passed away because they politely, after they released the information and started teaching, a lot of these people have just died for unknown reasons. You and I both know what that means. So let's go on with, before I get into a lot of this information, what I'm going to be teaching on and tying in for a lot of us. And, I'll be the first one to admit some of this stuff is just unreal. And even though I've seen this stuff, I never tied it in all these years. Even in, elementary school, some of the stuff that we had to learn about, it really ties into the Bible. And it shouldn't be. Well, I guess in a way it's good that they taught us as far as history is concerned, because otherwise I wouldn't have known to have looked there. But I never looked at a lot of it as demonic. I will tell you that. So the dream that I had, or the vision that I had, was there was 2 of us, and we were sitting in a boat. Believe it or not, we were sitting in a boat, and all the water had went out on the ocean, like it was a tsunami getting ready to come in. You know how the water goes out? Well, I looked behind us because that was the first thing that, I thought of, was tsunami. But we were sitting in this boat, and the water was all the way down, and there was rocks and coral all over the place. Everything was sticking up out of the water, but there was pockets of water in between these rocks and stuff, which happened to be where this boat was sitting. And I know it was a female. I don't remember. I don't believe I ever knew who I was standing in that boat with. We stood up in the boat and we were looking all around us, because how often do you get to see the floor of the ocean? I mean, seriously, I don't get to see it, okay? I don't swim. I do swim, but I don't swim out in the ocean. I don't like deep water. We got up and we were looking around, and for some reason there was this, I'm going to say about 50 foot from me, and there was this big golden disc, and it was radiating a golden yellow glow. It got my attention. I mean, it was a beautiful color, and it was just radiating this light. And I started to get out of the boat and walk over and pick it up and see what it was. But when I did that, the water started rising. Now, it didn't rise like a normal tide. It was like it was coming up through the ground. The water just started getting deeper. And it wasn't coming in waves at all. it was like somebody was just filling everything up from the bottom. And where I would have been walking over there in 2 foot of water, the water was rising so fast that I knew that I couldn't get to it and get back to the boat without the water already being over my head. Now, granted, I only stand 5'2", so I'm not that tall, but I knew better than to get in water than you know, not be able to make it back without even maybe making it to the object. So I just stayed in the boat. We sat down and we took note of where exactly this thing was at. And there was huge, massive rocks, and we were close to the beach area. Maybe 300 yards off of the beach when the water just kind of politely disappeared. So we knew where to come back to. So we landmarked it like women do. Men will give you directions and instructions and road names. Women will tell you it's close to the Walmart. So we landmarked it so we would know where to come back to. And we went, we took the boat and we went back to the dock, and we docked and we went, and I got scuba gear. I had to go to one store and get the suit. I had to go to another store in order to get the air supply. I had to go to another store to get the goggles and all this kind of stuff that went with it. I do not know what all kind of equipment, like I had to go someplace else to get the flippers. I've never dove. I don't know anything about this equipment, but I know that I had to piecemeal the pieces together, because you had to go to separate stores to pick up all the parts, and then I had to go someplace and have them show me how to use it. So, and this will come in play, okay? We took everything back, we put it back in the boat, and we took it back, the boat back out to where we knew this golden disc was actually in the water. And the water at that point was, 100 plus deep at that point. This water was beautiful. It was clear. You could see straight through it like a clean window. You could see everything in that water, just like it was, like there wasn't even any water there. It was like looking in a mirror, only you could see everything. There was no fish in there. There was nothing dangerous in that water, but that water never did go like a normal ocean. It did not. It just rose up from the bottom, and it covered everything until I guess it got full enough, and then it just stopped. Well, I had to get into water, and I had to play around, and I had to make sure that I had turned the oxygen on, and that everything was fitting snug and nothing was leaking. And I didn't, like I said, I had to teach myself. I had one of those goggles on that you could actually talk in while you was breathing, so it was a whole face cover. It wasn't just something that covered my mouth and nose, or my eyes and my nose. So I was in the water goofing around trying to make sure that I had oxygen and that everything was on right, and I had my watch set for when I was going to run out of oxygen and all that kind of stuff. I know now that me piecemealing that stuff together was me actually going, in reality, spending the last 2 years or so deep diving into all of these different types of information that pertain to the end times. All the, in Revelation it says the animals will turn against people and things like that. Well, I was even deep diving into all of these different types of cryptids and things like this, because believe it or not, all of this stuff does come in here. Okay, I know there's a lot of people out there that's not sure they exist because they've never ran into them, which, I get that. But believe it or not, a lot of this stuff there are millions of people that have seen these things. And yes, there's paperwork. There is a paper trail, and there is evidence given by these military guys that know firsthand and know flat out, that have testified that these things do exist, and they've actually know where they're being kept, because our government is hiding a lot of this stuff, okay? And are they dangerous? They can be. All right. But, I mean, I'll tie a lot of this stuff in later. Right now, I'm just not going to. I'm not going to get into a lot of this teaching today. I'll wait until I feel a little bit better. All right. So, when I got done playing in the water and making sure that I had oxygen and that I could see everything and that I wasn't, fogging up my own face mask and all this kind of stuff, then I went ahead. I told whoever in the boat, I said, I'll be right back. It'll take me a couple minutes, but I'll be right back. So I started diving down, and they could see me. They were looking at me from the top. They could see every move that I was making, because that's how clear that water was. I had only went down about 20 foot or so, and my oxygen stopped being oxygen, and it started being the Holy Spirit. I was breathing in the Holy Spirit. I mean, it turned to me breathing in water or air to breathing in the Spirit of the Lord. And I kid you not, that's where it stopped. Okay, that's where my vision stopped. I never did surface or anything like that, but I will tell you, when I came out of that vision, man, I was lit up. That the Spirit of the Lord was all over me. It was all over me. So, and then when I started making that first video the other day, well, 2 weeks ago now, I had the Spirit of the Lord on me. I was spitting and sputtering all over myself, and I apologize for that, because I normally would have erased that and started again. But if you notice, about halfway through, what I was saying became more clear, and what I was trying, the ideas that I was trying to get across to you guys actually balanced out, and it became more of a natural flow. That's the subject that he wants me in, to teach you guys what a lot of other people will not talk about. A lot of other preachers will not preach. Other teachers will not teach. Okay? And it's a little complicated for me, to be honest with you. The idea of it was a little overwhelming, because I never thought that I would have to teach on that side of things. But it's a necessary, because you guys need to know what's going on, what we're facing, and what is the enemy up to, and has been up to for over 6,000 years. Okay, it's never stopped. The seed war, all of this stuff that, the fall in the garden was just the beginning. And the fact that whoever wrote our Bibles and translated part of these words, like the serpent in the garden, if they were to have actually found out what the meaning to the Hebrew word, be honest with you, let me show you this, is Nahash. Okay? That's the Hebrew word for what these guys translated as a serpent. Well, Nahash in Hebrew means a shining, glorious, upright being that happens to have a face that looks a little bit like a serpent. And we happen to have demons that's walking around that looks like lizard people or alligator people or whatever you want to call them. Okay, so that was Satan that was in that garden. There's no two ways about it. But we still have those types of beings, and believe it or not, some of the graphics that is wrote and drew on Egyptian tablets and walls actually are some of these beings, as well as the dog men and things that we hear about all the time, and we're like, you know, it never fails. Every time I've seen somebody would always comment, pictures or it's not real. I'm like, how stupid are you? I mean, seriously, if that's, you've got over 1 million freaking people that know about these things and have told the same stories time after time. Now, granted, some of them are just after attention. You and I both know that. But when the paperwork started coming out and the government agencies was starting to talk about it, the ones that had retired and the generals were starting to set up there on a board and telling the truth because they didn't have any reason not to anymore. They figure if enough of them step up, they can't kill them all without people noticing, right? So these people are starting to come forward and they're starting to talk. They're starting to sing like birds. And it's about time that some of us start doing our homework and start listening, because they're not making this stuff up. Some of them actually had pictures. So the pictures are there. I guess that makes it real, huh? So anyway, just saying. Trail cameras, you name it. There are pictures. There are also a lot of fakes. And you and I both know it. Okay? So, just don't think because the Lord had me going down rabbit holes that He wasn't leading and guiding me, because He was. It's crazy, some of the things. We always think of Area 51 as being where all the UFOs and things like that have always been. I mean, you know, it's also in Area 48. There's also several more out in the deserts that people are not aware of that are totally hidden. There's places in these mountains, it's crazy. I didn't know there was so many of them. When I was little, I mean, it was a place in West Virginia that had bunkers and stuff under it in case D-Day ever came here. It's so much bigger than that now. Oh, my lands. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy, so a lot of this stuff that I have ran across. And you're welcome to not believe me. You're welcome to believe me. I'll even try to make sure that I give you guys names of the different people that I've been either following or having been digging into to make sure these people are on the up and up. Okay? Now, like I said, some of them are passed away, and you will have problems trying to find some of their videos because they're being hidden or taken down. And I've been doing this for 2 years, and yeah, some of the stuff has just disappeared, and it's sad. Some of the people have disappeared, and that's even sadder. Okay, but I did want to touch base with you. Okay, even though this video, we really didn't go into a lot of anything other than what I was shown. But I just wanted to give you all a heads up and let you know that I have been given instructions and directions. And the Lord let me know what my part is in this end times. And from what I understand, He's calling a lot of other people up as well. Okay? And He's actually shutting down some churches, and some of these preachers are being taken out of place, the ones that are misleading people. So I'm going to be tying a lot of this stuff in because it's just, there's a lot of things that's moving and it's of God. And we need to make sure that we understand that God's behind a lot of this stuff. We can't see it yet. We can't because there is a war going on. It's a spiritual war. And we all play a part in it. We're not here by mistake. None of us are. We all have a part in this and we have a part to play. And when he calls you to do something, you got to stand up. You just got to say, okay, let's do this. You know, that's the difference between being a warrior for the Lord and sitting on the sidelines. Now, if you don't get, even if all you get is, I feel the need to go help somebody, I feel no part is too big or too small. We all have our parts. We all have our parts. Every one of us, okay? Mine's teaching. Yours might be feeding the homeless. Yours might be seating cars at a big venue at the church when another preacher comes and you start having a lot of guests come in. No part. We are all of equal importance. Every one of us are needed. Okay? I don't want any misunderstanding. No part is any more or less important than anybody else's part. We all have to work together and we all need to do what the Lord's calling us to do because we all have different parts in this play. All right? So guys, I love y'all. I'm feeling kind of rough, so I'm going to get off of here. But you guys, stay blessed. Stay prayed up. Stay under the blood. Stay under the blood. Okay? Stay under his full armor at all times. Talk to him. Pray to him. Have a close relationship with the Lord. He never leaves us nor forsakes us, guys. He's with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remember that. Just because you don't feel him and you don't see him doesn't mean that he's not here, because he definitely is. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you all here in a couple of days probably.